I want to really quickly before we move on. I always like to do it whenever we get to this point in the show where people talk about how like, oh, biology just isn't keeping up with my burgeoning intellect and all these things. This is an undergraduate biology textbook. And I bring out an undergraduate textbook because I like the people who say it's basic biology. This is actually basic biology right here. And you can read along with us. The biochemical, physiological, and anatomical features associated with males and females are turning out to be more complex than previously realized, with many genes involved in their development. We now know that sex is not a binary state with just two defined outcomes. Because of the complexity of the genes and proteins involved in sex determination, many variations exist. Some individuals are born with intermediate sex or intersexual characteristics, or even with anatomical features that do not match an individual's sense of their own gender, known as transgender individuals. We wouldn't know anything about them. Sex determination is an active area. Right? Sex determination is an active area of research that should yield a more sophisticated understanding in years to come. Again, that is an actual biology textbook used by biologists to train new biologists. So, like, I'm sorry, if you're going to sit here and say that, the science isn't caught up because we're able to say, hey, there's actually more information than we thought. That's how science works. That's the history of science over the past several generations has been, this turned out to be more complicated than we thought. Here's this thing that flies in the face of what we thought was true and simple, and now we got to learn more shit. And for the past however many hundred years, we've been saying, yeah, sex is a binary. And then we learned new things. And now we're adjusting our understanding. And if you can't do that, we had the call just a minute ago with Pip, I believe, where they were talking about atheists with a dogmatic understanding of things. So like where they're talking about, I forgot how they phrased it, but like, this religious sort of way of holding on to bad ideas. This is one of them. The amount of self-proclaimed skeptics, the amount of atheists, especially, and people in the atheist community who are going to, excoriate trans and intersex people or people who talk about sex as non-binary as being, some sort of woke, pseudoscientific, whatever. All of a sudden, modern biology, modern anthropology, modern genetics, modern psychology, all of a sudden, these are all not real science anymore. Like, I had a dude freaking tell me earlier that psychology isn't a real science. It's like, I'm sorry, I can't have a fucking conversation with you if you're going to sit here and say, no, I take science very seriously, just not the stuff that's in peer-reviewed journals within the past 10 years. That's bullshit. It's like, it's not good enough. Or when we talk about, oh, well, here's the fucking dictionary definition of this stuff. They're like, oh, yeah, well, my dictionary didn't say that in the 1950s. Right. That's how it works. Congratulations. At one point, we thought that we didn't know what vaccines were, and then we learned what they were, and that thing changed. Like, it's so frustrating.